This is my first true and actual broadcast for YouTube. Direct for YouTube, only for YouTube, for our Minecraft build that we're working on. I'm going to do a full tour of the primary base. It is mainly being worked on by SmileMuch and Forgotton. We do have help from Penguin Studios and from Miss and from Lamb. Some of them also YouTube broadcast. They have their own channels, and they will be eventually linking up with our broadcasts here, and you'll get to meet us all through the Smile Games YouTube channel. It's an eventual thing. It'll take a little bit for us to get it all set up. Most of us are still working on it. As you can see here, we've got quite the structure building. Yeah, and that's SmileMuch right there, just so you know. It's quite large. It goes all the way down to bedrock. And you can see here, just in our moat, in the section that we have actually done, that's all the way down to bedrock there. This side here will be lava. That side there will be water. You can see out there, you can see we've got a lot of other stuff going on here. And I'll go ahead and get to those in a couple minutes. But first I'm going to spend a little bit of time here on our lighting. This is the lighting for our main structure. As you can see, it's lava as a primary. No monsters other than slimes will be able to spawn in this area. The only reason slimes will is because of how big we've made it. Now, as for the reasons why we are setting this up this way is several-fold. One, we're making a gigantic build, major building. You can see how big it is here. We're a little off center of the middle, but as you can see, it renders all the way out. But from one side to the other, it will not render. You cannot see the east side of the building from the west side of the building, or the north side of the building from the south, and so forth, at least at the farthest points. Now, if we come back up here, I'll give you a little information about these other things. Over there is a 200 square circle that's also shaped like our towers there. We'll take a closer look at the one over here. This one here is going to be a lighthouse. It'll go about that high as that pillar. I'll go up to there and show you why that pillar's there. I actually fell off it earlier. So you can get an idea of what this build looks like as an overall total package and why we're building it like this, at least in part. Now, what I'm going to show you over here when I build my tower next to this tower and then tear both down is that our build is shaped like something pretty interesting. And it was kind of an accident how it came up like this, because we actually just followed the actual shape of the random generation island to start with. And we were originally going to make it in the full shape of the island, which is kind of a triangle. But when we started thinking about it, the build would have come out to be more of a T, and since we were using lava, well, it was going to end up being a flaming T, and we decided that was in bad taste. So we went ahead and made it a giant L, but we also didn't care for that so much. So we went ahead and started adding more to it and made it fit the island a little better, even more closely, and actually overflowed into the ocean a bit just to make it in the shape we finally deemed worthy, which you'll see here in a couple moments. You can also see down below there where the circle is actually pretty perfect. As perfect as circles get in Minecraft, that is. Alright, so we're up here. And you can see our building down there. Let me go ahead and make it so I don't fall off again. And I don't know what that looks like to you, but it came out kind of look like a B-2 bomber to us, or stealth bomber, as most people would know it as. And you can see parts of it won't render. Get a kind of good view of the part of the cruise ship over there. Can't see it all. The sun's coming up. But yeah, so there's our base from the top, and it'll be a castle, and you can see some of the towers off the right and the left side there that we're going to be building as part of it. We're also going to accentuate that as much as we can, and at these top floors we're going to taper them off and try to give it the exact kind of triangle unique shape of the stealth bomber. At least that's kind of the goal we're going for. We're not 100% sure if we can pull it off, but we're going to try. So now you'll have to bear with me and let me dig my way back down as I destroy these two towers. There we go. That's a good setup. Now I can just hold it. And so as I dig my way back down and get rid of these, let's see here. What else can I tell you? Well, the Carnival cruise ship was built primarily by Smilemuch as his own little personal side project. The building itself was dug out primarily by me. Smile helped with a lot of it. Lamb helped with where this lighthouse that we're kind of looking at is going to be. There was a big mountain here that actually was about as tall as our building that we tore down to put this lighthouse there. We have other people who are helping. They mainly joined in a little later in the server and have been helping us with digging out the moat primarily. Some of them have helped us with a couple of the floors we haven't quite finished. We have like two, maybe 3 floors left to fully carve out all the way down to bedrock. Now, there's a lot left to go. The server is a 24/7 server, dedicated. It's a separate PlayStation for those who want to learn how to make their own dedicated. So it takes a little bit of an investment to get your dedicated server. Buy your own PlayStation, and we are solely in survival mode here. This initially started out as a survival hard mode only map, but it was just simply taking way too long to get our lighting in, fighting the monsters and creepers and everything else as we went. So we went ahead and turned off monsters and decided to finish at least one primary structure for each of our current people on our server before we turned monsters back on. Now, as you can see here, we also did the boat under the waterline, and we built it, and then you can see here where we got the engine intake and everything else for the Carnival cruise ship. And we'll go ahead and take a quick view and tour inside this Carnival cruise ship. It's quite massive, just like the normal base. You can see where we're building everything. Eventually we'll have full cabins built and get as close to a real Carnival cruise ship as we can in a standard dimension like this. We're also going to build some of the above stuff, like a lot of them will have water slides or little what's it called, roller coasters on them, and we're going to try to do something like that on here. In addition, we're also planning a roller coaster on the top of our building. If we come down here, you can see where we're doing the glass observation deck at the back, which is partially constructed. We've got a nice little Olympic-sized pool slash jet ski launch that we'll end up setting up. This whole inside of the boat was filled with water. We filled it up with sand, dug out all the sand to get rid of it. Alright, so that kind of covers the Carnival cruise ship. Now let's go ahead while I run back to the rest of the base. We'll go over some more background on the server. We have had this server running for about 4 months total. The first few months was mainly used in gathering materials, digging in places we didn't think we would use that much, collecting sand, cooking sand into glass because we knew we were going to need just an astounding amount of so many different materials, making huge amounts of obsidian to be placed in our walls and our moats and stuff and surround our entire structures to dissuade people from trying to dig into them, because this is the internet and we've come across them before. Damn those trolls, they're everywhere, and So yeah, we're trying to fight back against the troll nation by making it as difficult as possible to get into our base. And yeah, so that there it is. And if we continue on talking about that, as for new members, we have about 26 people total on our server. Not all are active. We have about 10 total active members at the moment. Some have gone inactive. Some will join, take a look at it, say, yeah, this is really cool. I'd love to join in. And then they never really come back, or they broadcast once on their page to try to take credit for what we've done or whatever they did. And so, yeah, we've got some people on here that aren't active. We got some people that are really active. And then we've got our somewhat active people. All right, so now we're back inside the main structure, and I'm showing you more of the actual floors that we've carved out, so you can get an idea of just how much carving out we've done all the way down. And it's still going. We'll go ahead and stop here because now we're getting to some of the other stuff. You can see where we're starting to lay out our farming section and everything else. Everything's there. We also have a tree farm with every tree type represented, and we will be carving out and making this larger, making it more pretty, and I'll show you in a little bit the way that looks as a more pretty structure. Now over here we have our minecart station. I won't use it at the moment, but each of these buttons represents a different location. So you hit a button, that we will eventually put up signs to say whose base is what and run to individual bases. You jump in a minecart and off you go. The bases are quite spread out on the world. This base is almost all the way on the east side of the world, and we have a base that's literally on the west side of the world. That one is some of our less active members, unfortunately, and will probably be reclaimed for other people to build. Alright, so we're going to go over here, and we're now passing through the actual moat. As you can see, we went ahead and continued our lava lighting theme. Now, the moat will actually be half water and half lava, as I said earlier, but for this section, we decided it just looked cooler to have all lava for the tunnel. Now this here is some of our saved experience points that we use for making all of these special enchanted stuff, and we add to it and take away from it as we need to replace stuff. As you can see, we have quite a bit stockpiled from our excursions looking for all kinds of different stuff in the world. We have this as our public chest area. We can keep lots of supplies for a lot of our different viewers to go ahead and go to. This is our chicken spawn and egg spawn area. If we continued up here, it would take us all the way up and out into the lighthouse area. We also have an automatic chest sorting system that I'm not going to get into in this broadcast. There's more hidden chests, places hidden all over this place, and some of them are easily accessible, some are much harder, just so that we can keep stuff away from grifters and stuff like that, and, well, trolls as we call them. But yeah, most of this lava that you see is been placed one hex, actually all of it's placed one hex at a time, so we get this nice even still lava look. And just about all of it has been taken from the nether portal. Now, we would build a lot in the nether portal. In fact, we plan on doing a lot, but that's going to have to come much later after we finish most of our lighting. As you can see here, this entire pitted out area was all lava that we have slowly dipped out, and not just dipped out once, but dipped out at least 4 times. This entire pool has vanished, and then we come over here to this side and drain out more lava from this side. As you see, we've already started, and until it's all gone, until it's too annoying for us to run down here, fill up buckets, run up there, place lava, etc. It gets quite taxing to do all this individually. So we reset the nether every once in a while, and that's why we haven't built much on this side yet. Now, if we continue on through the nether, I could show you other bases and stuff. But since this is going to be a short kind of first tour of the main base, which we have named in honor of Fallout 4, what we believe should have been the winner of best game of last year, at least Smile Much and myself, we have named this Vault-Tec Atlantis. So this is our Minecraft version of what Vault-Tec may be in Atlantis base for, yeah, that's the way it is. And the cruise ship would be kind of a disguised way that we brought all the dignitaries and stuff who were able to afford to survive the apocalypse and live on Atlantis. And you heard Smile Much say he was back, and here he is on his server account. So thank you for viewing. Any who join in later and take a look at our YouTube broadcast, the first actual dedicated tour. If you want to hear more, then please make a comment or find some way of getting in touch with us, and we'll be happy to give updates and everything else. There will be more updates anyways, but answering any specific questions or things like that. But until then, thank you for tuning in. This is Forgotton and Smile Much saying good night, good day, good evening, whatever.